Welcome back, subscribers, and hello, YouTube viewers. On this occasion, I've barely walked, I would say 100 metres from where I'm staying. It is a historical landmark, and I think it's wise for me to actually highlight this little fortress. Now, it's on a little island. It's not too far away from the shoreline, but I thought if I don't do it, I'll regret it probably later. So I'm not sure if I can get it in the picture behind me, and I'm also not sure if I could get the drone up, because once again, with the drones here in the EU or in Croatia, the same with the rules in Australia. If it's under 250 grams, you still have to be, as in 250 grams of a drone. If you're slightly lighter, there are exemptions, but you still have to stay away from airports for 5.5 kilometres. So any airport within 5.5, you'll get a signal on your drone if you've hooked up with the software, which I have with the EU and also in Australia, and it immediately tells me, no, you cannot fly, which cuts out all the dramas of if you can or can't. I think I'm right on the border of the 5.5. I've had a look at the maps, and I know I can't fly it from my apartment, but I'm thinking this extra 100 metres might make the difference. So I'll give it a go and see what I can do. If I can get it up, it'll be great. I'll just buzz around this little fortress. There's not much left of it, but it's just interesting that there are quite a number of these little mini fortresses all over the place. And this one is, sort of 100 metres or so away from, it's not technically an apartment, it's more of a house that I'm staying at. And let's see if we can get it on board, and something for you guys to look at, and a memory for me as well. So there's our little fortress. I know during the summer a lot of people swim to it, from what I've heard. I've had relatives that have come and visited me, and they confirm this is a place that they come fairly often, and it is a place where kids can swim to. Gives them a bit of a challenge to get there and back. And once again, this is just basically a little inlet. It is a little tourist resort. The whole, as I've mentioned probably a few times now, the whole coast is a tourist destination. You can pretty much stop anywhere along the whole Adriatic of Croatia, and you will stumble into bathing areas, cafes, restaurants, and surprisingly, boats. There are boats everywhere. You'd think that every man and woman in Croatia has a boat. I do understand that there's a big demand for renter yachts, so people can rent them from around the world and cruise the Croatian coastline, but I'm just surprised by the numbers. I've seen thousands of rentable yachts that one can do, and I've also seen thousands of charter boats and large cruise ships, and then you've actually got those really big cruise ships that take people around it. They could have 1,000 people on board. So anyway, so this is a little fortress. I'll probably find out more information about it, and I'll give you a bit of a spiel. And I mightn't have to even do that. Here's a little notice board about it right here, which is terrific. So I am staying in a little sort of a suburb. It's probably the best way I can describe it. It's called Shukoshan or Shukoshan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. I'm always going to get these pronunciations wrong, but I'll do my best. So the beauty of the Bay of Shukoshan, it's mild climate and best represented by the summer villa of the, Archbishops of Zadar, Plavic, built in the inlet in the middle of the bay by the end of the 15th century. Okay, so it's relatively old. Hang on, this is probably the best way to do it, because some of these videos can get quite long. I'm hoping I've got it centered, and just press pause if you'd like to read it further. There's definitely a school nearby. I know, I can see kids there. It's very unusual to hear noises in the background. The October, November, I can't reiterate, it's probably the best time to come. It's extremely cost effective. Everything is being discounted. Most of the big or the medium-sized charter boats have been packed away for next year's season, but the renting of, say, yachts like this, or not yachts, little power boats are extremely cheap. There's numbers there, just ring up. And then if you want to hit the islands, which are all in the distance there, you can do so. You park it up, have a meal, come back, and Bob's your uncle. So here's the little fortress thing. And let's see if we can get the drone up. If I can't get the drone up, this is pretty much all you're going to get. But once again, just an absolutely spectacular view. Just lovely. I don't know if you can see just in the distance where that truck is. I'm not too far away from behind that truck, where the main road, the coastal road is, or where that person's walking her child in that little three-wheeler trike. So I'm just sort of behind there. So there you go. I would have liked to have got more drone footage, but it seems like if I'm just over there, it says I can't. I'll go back to my car because I'm going to go to another location, but hopefully I might be able to get the drone up. And once again, if not, well, it is what it is. Now, just a quick note, what I do appreciate is the contrast of the old and the new. You could have an extremely modern home with all the mod cons, and then you have some of these really old-looking, rustic-looking homes that are still being occupied. And as I said, the interiors of them get all done up with the correct plumbing and air conditioning and electrical stuff, but they're so old, and they have stood the test of time. So you know their sound when it comes to their construction. And when I look at that, I think, wow. But no, there's a family in there. Then you have something newer, and then you might have a brand new condo just around the corner, and you think, fantastic. So it does cater to a lot of different socio-economic groups, whereby those who have been, they bought here years and years ago, maybe second generation, they've still got the family home, and they're living quite comfortably on a beautiful setting. So anyway, we'll get the drone and let's continue on. Okay, so I'll jump in now with a little bit more information from what I've researched. The church and the villa was built under the direction of the Archbishop of Zadar, Matteo Valareso, in 1470. It was a rectangular two-storey palace of monumental dimensions and the most significant example of rustic architecture. During the siege of Candida, it served to protect the people of Shukashan of the Turkish invasion. Today it is a symbol of this location and their trademark. It is also an especially beautiful sight to see during sunset. In the summer, as I mentioned earlier, you can reach the place by swimming there. So that's all I can add with the extra research I've been able to find about this place, so please enjoy the aerial views. So now that we have been able to get the drone up, I can have an ending to this. So once again, if you did like the video, by all means, click on that like button or that thumbs up icon. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing does not cost you 1 cent, but it helps out the channel immensely. This is just going to be a moment in time type video. It's going to be something short. I'll put it up whenever I can, and it just gives you an insight of a lot of the little inlets, the little fortresses that are placed all over Europe, particularly obviously along the Adriatic coast in Croatia. With the research I've done online, these are everywhere, so it's quite interesting that when these things were all built, and even some of these homes that are sort of directly behind me, they can go back 300-400 years, and countries like Australia or even the US were even not even thought of. Yes, we do have the indigenous Australians that have had a lot more history that goes back thousands of years, but when you look for man-made structures, it's really sort of, I guess, the Middle East, Africa and Europe where you see that how it all evolves through time. So it is quite interesting that while in Australia or maybe even the US, back when they were sort of discovered by Europeans, that places like this existed hundreds of years prior to that. So ending on that note, once again, thanks for watching. Stay safe, commute safe, and have a great day.